All right. It says Wisconsin jury finds Kyle Rittenhouse not guilty on all accounts. So this is an older magazine. And the reason why I'm bringing this thing up is because they just released a new one that kind of ties into this. And when I was reading this, I'm just thinking, you have got to be kidding. Now, keep in mind, it says here that this magazine has been around since 1909. Wow.
Hmm.
Who would have thought? All right, here we go. After illegally carrying an AR 15 from Illinois to Kenosha, Wisconsin, the then 17-year-old shot three people, killing two.
That's not
Is there
right.
anything wrong with that?
Yes, the gun wasn't illegally possessed, and it never crossed state lines.
You
Um,
know,
that's
it's
it.
keep in mind, he's been found not guilty. So this is after the judge had ruled that the gun was legal.
Hmm. Yep.
I don't know. So let's move on. It says here Kyle Rittenhouse illegally carrying an AR 15, which he used to kill two and wound another in Kenosha. So they repeated the header as a caption. That's great. Kyle
Oh,
Rittenhouse. Go
she's
ahead.
trying. Kayla's trying to join.
Oh, okay.
It's
Let
not
me
letting.
see.
It's not letting her, I guess, but she's trying.
Okay, let me try it. Let's see here. No. Okay, she's in the studio, but there's no action.
Hmm.
I don't know. Um, don't know. But just keep me informed.
I
Okay.
have a question. I have a
Sure.
question. Now, there's another article that Zach Roberts wrote. Are you going to read that one, or is this one's a different one? This one you're reading is the 2021. The one Zach Roberts wrote is 2024, just a few like
I
last
think
week.
I think that's the other one I have loaded up. Hang on, let me just check.
Okay, sounds good.
Yep, Zach
Okay,
Roberts. We're gonna read it.
all
That's the
right.
one I was saying that this leads into.
Oh, got it. Okay, thank you.
Okay, here we go. Oh, Kyle Rittenhouse, the white teenager who shot three people, killing two of them. You got to be told that again. During
Mhm.
Black Lives Matter protests in downtown Kenosha, Wisconsin, was found not guilty. Okay, I don't have any problems so far. And come on. The Kenosha County jury in the Rittenhouse murder trial found that Rittenhouse acted in self defense when he fatally shot Joseph Rosenbaum and Anthony Huber and injured Gage. Okay. And I'm sorry. After traveling to Kenosha from Illinois and posting himself at a used car lot, which he said he was defending from vandalism with his AR 15 style rifle. And I think Kayla is. Kayla, are you there?
I see
Kayla.
five squares.
Yeah, she's got two squares. She's loaded up two places here. Um,
Oh,
yeah, I don't know. Don't know what's happening there.
Mhm.
Okay, I'll keep
maybe
an
she
eye
needs
on it.
to try restarting your phone.
Oh, she's on her phone. Oh yeah, she doesn't have a computer.
Let's see.
Okay, any rate. So it says here that he said he was defending this used car lot.
Hmm.
And notice how they put that in there. Like, it's pretty clear he was defending it. Whether you wanted him to defend it or not is not an issue. I mean, well, that's a different issue, right? But there's no doubt that he's there defending it.
Yes, and he's not the only one. They leave out so much. They
Oh,
feel
yeah.
it makes it feel like he's like the lone person or something.
Yeah, he's with a group.
Yes.
Okay, it says Rosenbaum, Huber, and Grosskreutz were in Kenosha along with hundreds of demonstrators during the days of protests against the shootings of Jacob Blake by Kenosha. Okay, I don't see an issue there. And it talks about how the jury deliberated for 4 days after hearing 8 days testimony. And let's see here. Okay. All right, here we go. Wisconsin Governor Tony Evers activated the National Guard.
Evers.
Is it Evers?
Yeah, it's Evers.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
To help the city in the event of unrest. Lieutenant Governor Mandela Barnes, who is running for U.S. Senate, issued a statement from his campaign account immediately after the verdict saying, "Over the last few weeks, many dreaded the outcome we just witnessed." He's really even handed here. The presumption of innocence until proven guilty is what we should expect from our judicial system, but that standard is not always applied equally. We have seen so many black and brown youth killed, only to be put on trial posthumously, while the innocence of Kyle Rittenhouse was virtually demanded by the judge.
Well, there's Crystal Kaiser.
Yeah, that's going to be an interesting, but she might be convicted though. What if she's convicted?
Well, at least she's still alive.
Yeah. Now, to those who don't know it, Crystal Kaiser, because I don't know if people know about Crystal Kaiser on the national scene. Okay. But Crystal Kaiser is a young black female who was, I think, 15 when
She's
she put
16.
she put an ad out basically selling her services, right? And I think she was like 15 at that time.
Mm.
And this guy named Randall Volar III, he saw what he thought was some hot. He responds, and I guess they become a couple. Now, whether it's boyfriend, girlfriend, or he was just a predator and she was a prey, let's face it, it's not a legal deal. I mean, you can't go dating 15-year-old girls.
Mhm.
But to the extent to how far that went is kind of not known. But at any rate, she's a car thief, and she was busted and actually sentenced for stealing cars. And the day that she was sentenced, she takes an Uber down to Kenosha to party with Randall Vollard, who bailed her out, by the way. And at some point during the night, he's sitting down. She got behind him and shot him to death with a pistol that she carried with her down from Milwaukee. And she's claiming as basically a safe harbor affirmative defense, saying that because I was trafficked by him, that means I can kill him. I mean, that's kind of her argument. And there's some support for that. Okay. And the trial for her is going to occur this summer. It's in June, late June. If you think that the Kyle Rittenhouse deal is going to be bad, wait till Crystal Kaiser comes out. Keep in mind, she shot Randall at 17 and in Kenosha, Wisconsin, same town, same age, but she's a black female and he's a white male. Oh, it's going to be brutal. I'm telling
Yeah.
you. The innocence of Kyle Rittenhouse was virtually demanded, by the judge. Wow. I mean, Judge Schroeder virtually demanded that the jurors give out a innocence or not guilty verdict. I mean, they don't know much about Judge Schroeder, do they?
No.
Because he's a Democrat.
Yep. Lifelong.
Like what?
Lifelong.
Yeah.
Like what, 40 years? 40, 50
Appointed
years?
by a Democratic governor. I mean, and I mean, I think that besides Wendy Rittenhouse, who's been slaughtered by people for no good reason, this judge also has been really badly dragged through the mud without any good reason. Um, I look at what he did as being extremely fair. Hey, guess who's on? I think
Okay.
Kayla.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so so do you guys want the good news or the bad news? news.
Bad news
Well,
first.
you get both.
Okay.
Okay. Well, of course. Okay, so it's not working on my phone, and I'm trying to figure out why. I'm on my iPad, but it's at a 2%.
So you're going to run out of battery.
Yeah.
Well, why not plug it in?
Yeah, plug it in and
How am I
No.
supposed to charge it without my headsets, though? Or with my headsets, because I have my headsets in.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I'm not an iPad user.
Yeah, me neither.
Like, I don't have like a wireless charger for the iPad, and I would have to charge it by taking out my headsets. Does that make sense?
I guess.
I guess, yeah. I mean, like I say, I don't know much about those.
Yeah, I
Well,
have like no Apple products.
what I could do is charge it for like 10 minutes and then join back in 10 minutes and see
Sure.
if it can get up to like maybe a 30 or something.
Sure.
Because that would be what I would need, right?
Yeah, that'd be fine.
I
Yeah.
suppose.
Okay,
Okay, why don't you
guys.
take a step out?
or try your
and-
phone.
And I'll even take a screenshot and show you. Now it's at a 1%.
Oh, yeah, you better go.
All right.
All right, I'll see.
See ya.
Okay. And the problem with the whole judge thing is people just don't understand admissibility of evidence. They just don't get it. Why didn't they allow the CVS video footage? Well, there are very good reasons why. What about Pudgies? Why didn't he allow Pudgies? There's very good reasons why. And the whole, I mean, they even argue that a fist fight that Kyle got into should be admitted. I mean, give me a break. But it's one of the things that astounds me was the complete inability of the public to understand courtroom procedures and basic legal 101. And it's one thing to have the misconception, but after somebody explains it to you and you still don't get it. All right, let's move on here. Despite Kyle Rittenhouse's conscious decision to take the lives of two people protesting the shooting of Jacob Blake by police,
They weren't.
he was not held responsible for his actions, something
he
that is
was.
not surprising.
Yes, he was. He turned himself in. He was charged, jailed, and put on trial. He didn't get away with it scot-free.
Exactly.
And what about a conscious decision to take the lives of two people?
He had less than a second to react, and they were not protesting shit.
Allie, what do you think? Fair?
I think fair, yes.
Okay, and this is keep in mind, this is interim executive director of the ACLU of Wisconsin, fighting for your rights. Which, unless it's like self-defense.
Isn't that what Grosskreutz was part of? ACLU of Wisconsin?
You know what? Maybe he was. Allie, do you know anything about that? Was he involved in the ACLU of Wisconsin?
He was involved with People's Revolution.
Right. Okay, now that one I know.
Yeah. He was streaming for some organization, I think, at the time.
Okay. So I don't know about
He was
the ACLU.
asking Kyle if he shot somebody and stuff and started chasing him.
I had a lot more respect for the ACLU back in the day.
Yeah.
But, I mean, this is irresponsible. All right, it goes on. But Kyle Rittenhouse isn't the only one responsible for the deaths that night. The events in Kenosha stem from the deep roots of white supremacy in our society's institutions. They underscore that the police do not protect communities of color in the same way they do white people.
Rosenbaum and Huber were responsible for their own deaths that night, not Kyle.
And what's this communities of color thing?
Exactly.
I mean, they looted a community of color on 22nd Avenue uptown. They burned down a bunch of shit, all the
right.
strip mall or whatever, and a lot of black people live in that area.
Mm-hmm. And of course, we have the Kendrys. Well, I guess
Now,
they don't
do you
count
live-
with it.
The Kandiris,
Now,
yeah.
Do you live in Wisconsin?
Yes, I was born and raised in Kenosha. I don't live there anymore, but
Oh,
I still live in the vicinity.
okay. Yeah, so we have a good person on to understand everything and
Yeah.
speak out.
Yep.
All right. When's the last time you were in Kenosha?
I was there yesterday, actually. I was um, just driving around because they're actually closing several schools when the school year ends. So I just drove past and, reminisced. So
Yeah.
I also drove past the shooting scene and stuff, Car Source and that.
Oh, did
Um,
some of the businesses actually go back in? Because I do know there's a I think a taco Mexican place that they had to relocate, and then the mattress store. I wonder if they went back
Yeah,
in.
I know about the mattress store. They relocated, and I think they relocated the Danish Brotherhood Lodge, which was in the same building as the mattress shop.
Oh,
I'm not
okay.
sure about the Choco Mexican place, but yeah,
Mm-hmm.
the Car Source one, just north of 60th, I guess, is abandoned. But I think the one on 63rd, where Rosenbaum was shot, I think that's still in business.
Mm-hmm. Yes, because I think like the two car sources weren't burned down after, there was help. The first one burned
Yeah.
down the very first night. That's when they asked for security and public volunteer.
Mm. Yeah, I think.
And it,
I don't know. I was watching the
mhm,
live streams on YouTube at the time. I didn't go down there at all.
Well, that's
I kind of
that's
wanted to though because there's a place down there that I volunteer for, and I was
mhm.
afraid they were going to target that place, but they didn't, thankfully. So yeah, they
I
burned
think
down a
what was
furniture store. They burned down a furniture store. The detention center. The detention center was rebuilt, and they relocated the furniture store too. But yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
because there was a lot of protesters and everything that was in near the city, the courthouse area and everything, I think in the city buildings. And then they moved everything to the residential and all the businesses, and that's when they started rioting and hitting all the cars and burning all the
Yeah.
buildings and everything.
Yeah.
you know what I would like? I would love to have the Kendrys on, and not to talk about their testimony. I would just
Yeah.
want to know how things went after the ordeal. I mean, are they what kind of losses have they taken? Whatever happened to their insurance claims? Because I'm actually not against the Kendrys. A lot of Kyle
Actually,
supporters don't like him,
they
but
had an article. There was on the news that the insurance didn't cover it.
well,
And a lot of the
how old?
cars were consignment and everything too.
Yeah. Well, how old is this article?
You know what?
2021.
I'm not sure.
It was the
Okay, because I may
day
have
that
read
Kyle
that
was
somewhere.
acquitted.
Yeah,
It
I
was written
knew
the day.
that they were in court to try to get the insurance company to pay up, and I'm just very curious as to what happened because if those cars were on consignment, now they're getting sued by all the car owners for losses.
Mhm.
Um, I don't know. I would if you're ever back in Kenosha,
Yeah.
if you have the inkling, you might ask them if they'd like to come on because it would be
Okay.
great if they could come out and tell their story. And I'm not going to pester them about the testimony and all that. That's water under the bridge as far as I'm concerned. Kyle was acquitted. It's over. And and I'm actually pretty much a very good sympathy. I even have a video where I defended them, because whatever. But
Yeah.
um, I would love to have them on.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
could she
that's a
could
good
then
point, by the way. That
let them see the video.
what's that?
She could actually let them see the video when she
Yeah,
goes down there.
yeah, okay. Maybe not because I'm
Oh,
pretty
okay.
well. The reason why I say that is I'm actually defending them because of their family structure, and I'm going into areas that they're afraid they might get questioned about.
Oh, got
Yeah.
it. Okay.
So because they probably don't want me hammering on about who their dad is and
Hmm.
does your dad really run the affairs of the company and that kind of stuff.
Hmm.
But if you want to just say, look, I mean, you have I'm not a supporter per se, but I am more than happy to have them come on and just explain how all this affected them. And
Mhm.
there's not going to be, and I'll say this: there's going to be a lot of people piping in, asking them about the testimony. I'm not going to have them answer those questions.
Mhm.
So, yeah, if you can, that'd be great. And also, Liquidator says um, you're spitting facts. The knowledge base with us is off the charts. Absolutely, we just
Thank
know
you.
more than they do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By
Okay.
the way, the live stream. Which video were you talking about, Allie?
Oh, in regards to, you mean the Kendry brothers? Or which
Yeah.
one?
You said
Uh,
I could show them a video or something.
oh, I was talking about Johnny Walker's
Oh, okay.
video. And then he says, oh
Gotcha.
no, you might want to hold off on that one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, sorry about that.
It's all right. I actually went to an elementary school that was right across the street from Car Source 3.
Oh,
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah, it's gone now. It's called Durkee Elementary, but now it's the parking lot for the hospital.
oh, okay.
Yeah, and Car Source 3 used to be a full service gas station called Bert and Rudy's.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So they had 3 sites. One is gone. The other is still there. What about the third? What about the mechanics shop?
The car doctor,
Um,
I think that's still there.
yeah, that's still
I don't know. I
there.
don't frequent that. I'm not a patron there. I've never gone there, so
Mhm. I mean, can you imagine? Because you have to put yourself in these guys' shoes. They burned down a bunch of cars, and the next day, they called the insurance company. Well, what else
yeah.
would you do, right? And the insurance company's telling them, "No, we're not covering you." Can you imagine the blood draining from your face when you're going to have to turn to those people who put their car in your trust and tell them that, well, it's just too bad, but there's no insurance on it. So, you know, I mean, you're going to get sued up the yin yang.
Mhm.
And so when you look at that, it's not hard to understand why they would have turned to a bunch of kids to say, hey, can you help us out? Because the police ain't going to help them.
Nope. Yeah,
So
people
what do
on Twitter are like, "Oh, the police could have done what Kyle did, but they didn't."
No. Well, I always tell them, well,
Eric
I'll tell you
told,
what, next time you go on vacation, have the police try to guard your house while you're gone and see what they say. They're going to
Yeah.
say, hire private security. Well, that's what these guys did.
Yeah.
Now, was it the best private security? Well, they were effective, but at the same time, you can't be too picky, right?
Yeah.
Um, they actually I think that the actual requirements were you're armed and you're willing to protect my property, and that was pretty much
Mhm.
it.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on here. Um, Kyle Rittenhouse crossed state lines to come to Wisconsin with the intent to infiltrate a peaceful protest organized by leaders and residents in Kenosha calling for racial justice. He did not come to help the community.
Yes, he did.
how did they not know that? I don't understand.
Listen, he waved a gun in the face of people exercising their First Amendment rights.
No, he didn't.
That's not lie. No, he did not.
He came with support from white nationalist groups to incite violence and intimidate Wisconsinites, black, white, and brown, to keep us from speaking out. Because that's what
No, he
Kyle was doing
didn't.
all night. When the people were going like, Black Lives Matter, he was pointing a gun in their head saying, you just shut the hell up. That's in their minds. That's what he was doing in his attempts to stop people from exercising their rights. He shot and killed 2 innocent men and harmed another.
They were not innocent.
And I would say you can't make this up, but they're making it up. I
Yeah.
mean, this
Yep.
is
I mean, do do the media not have some kind of code of ethics or something? Did you
Well,
just
let's
throw it
see.
out the window?
This is Joanna Botch. I can picture her right now with the silver hair, and with the T-shirt, Biden, the Obama T-shirt and all that. Citizen Action of Wisconsin. She's the movement politics director, and dumber than a brick. All I can
Mhm.
say.
I don't see how they could lie like that.
Well, they can. I mean, it's not. It's we see this crap, of course, on Twitter, right? But it's Twitter. This is
Yes,
in a journal that's been around since 1909.
yeah, very misleading. They're not very good journalists if they didn't do their homework.
Was Kyle part of the Kenosha Guard? No. And let me go ahead and address this. And by the way, I'm thinking of actually doing my own college tours. I mean, they're not going to be popular like Kyle's, and they're probably not going to be like real, incendiary like Kyle's.
Hmm.
But I'm thinking of actually going around and contacting TPUSA and saying, "Look, would you like somebody to take and get in front of a crowd and say, hey, let's talk about what actually happened?"
Hmm.
And I mean, I'm a college lecturer, so I can get up in front of college students and talk. So
Hmm.
I got that part down. I think I could do a good job of it. But
Yeah,
unlike
me
Kyle,
too.
I'm going to talk about the facts and everything instead of just explaining what happened. It's just
Hmm.
so. Was Kyle part of the Kenosha Guard? And this is a typical question that you could get, and the answer is no. The Kenosha Guard was a sort of an informal. It wasn't even a real thing. But Kevin Mathewson of the Kenosha County Eye sent a letter to the police saying that he was going to have a whole bunch of people coming in to help protect the city, and he put this on Facebook and he called it the Kenosha Guard. But there was never any Kenosha Guard. It's not an organization. And Kyle didn't know anything about that. So Kyle was not involved in that whatsoever. And this is going to be kind of interesting because they're trying to make that claim that he was in the lawsuits. And all you listeners out there, if you're wanting to know what the lawsuits against Kyle Rittenhouse actually say, go to my channel. I actually read them. All right. Um, so they actually make the comment that Kyle Rittenhouse was persuaded to come to Kenosha as part of this Kenosha Guard thing, but he wasn't. Kyle didn't know anything about that.
Kyle
Uh,
explains why he went there on the stand.
well, yeah,
And
and
want to tell a story, right?
Hmm.
And
On
people
when
are
he
like,
was,
"Oh, why is he
testifying.
testifying?"
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
People are like, "Why
when he
is he
testified.
testifying?"
Yeah.
Yeah, some people think he was forced to testify when he wasn't.
Well, I mean, you're talking about Kyle. Um, you can't force him to testify, but I mean, obviously, he would have been urged or compelled to testify if the lawyers felt that that was in his best interest. But he was obviously free to deny that if he wanted to. You can't force him to on the stand. Um, quite frankly, everybody's talking about how well that was the turning point. I don't think it would have mattered. And I know that they ran their little mock jury things, but
Yeah,
I
they did 3 mock juries.
yeah, and I don't
Mhm.
see a jury convicting Kyle, even if he hadn't taken the stand. Keep in mind, I mean, all right, you can get a hung jury, but to convince all 12 that he was guilty based on what Binger brought forward, really?
Yeah.
I mean, I would be on the jury, and let's say I never heard of Kyle, and I'd be thinking, wait, um, there's supposed to be evidence, right? Like everything I've seen, I just can't see it. I don't think that Kyle was in really any danger of being convicted, to be honest with
Yeah.
you. Okay, we got here. I saw a picture of him cleaning graffiti off a building in Kenosha after the Car Source 1 fire night. Yeah, that was, well, I know that Nathan DeBruin took some photos, but the one that you saw I'm not sure who took it, but yeah, he was cleaning graffiti off the
In the
wall
morning.
at school. And what's that?
It was in the morning of
Yeah,
was it the 25th? Yeah.
yeah, it was the morning. Keep in mind, and I know that Allie, you may not like what I'm going to say here, but I
Okay.
am unlike all these YouTubers going around with the truth. I do talk the truth here, and in my opinion, while Kyle was there helping clean graffiti, um, I don't know how much of that was just really altruistic or mostly just because, well, Dominic is there doing it, and I think he wanted to get his picture taken a few times. I don't think there's
His
anything wrong with
sister.
that.
No, his sister was there too.
That's right. His sister was there. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But and it's the same thing with guarding, car source. I think part of that was just wanting something to do. I
Yeah.
mean, I I don't
Wanted
have
to help the
quite the block
community.
of Kyle as a lot of people do. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying he just wanted to help the community instead of there was a lot of people helping cleaning the graffiti.
Yeah.
There was
And
a
by the
whole
way,
row of them.
I
Yeah.
don't see how you can clean that off. That's
No, I
porous wood.
had some, I was taking care of rental property and they spray painted the door of the garage. It was very hard. I just repainted it over. Much easier. Just get some paint and just paint it right over.
Yeah, you're not going to clean that off.
Yeah, it's difficult to clean off. Just get paint to paint it right over is fine.
Mhm. Okay, let's see here. Now, here's what's interesting. A misdemeanor weapons possession charge was dismissed by Judge Bruce Schroeder before the jury began its deliberations. After the defense successfully argued that Wisconsin law allowed Kyle Rittenhouse to possess the AR 15 he carried in Kenosha since it was not short barrel. Do you see a problem with that?
Um,
You forgot.
yeah. Yeah, they allowed him to possess it because it was legal.
After illegally carrying an AR 15 from Illinois to Kenosha.
Yep.
It's like, wait. After illegally carrying an AR 15, and then later, after he's found in legal possession of the gun. Oh my God.
Yeah, that's why the gun charge was
I
dismissed because it was legal.
think they just do that on purpose.
Oops. Okay. Let's see here. And by the way, I have a severe distaste for this governor of yours,
Yeah.
this Evers.
Yeah, there were yard signs saying "Worst Governor Evers."
And no verdict will be able to bring back the lives of Anthony Huber and Joseph Rosenbaum. In the case of Joseph Rosenbaum, good. Or heal Gage Grosskreuz's injuries, just as no verdict can heal the wounds or trauma experienced by Jacob Blake, good, and his family.
But
No
I
ruling
don't
today.
understand. They're the one that started it.
Yeah,
I don't understand. They're the ones that attack Kyle. If they didn't attack him, they would be fine.
Yep, he'd be
Simple.
alive.
and Jacob Blake. I mean, how many lives did Jacob Blake destroy? And he's not a good dude. He's a really, really bad person.
But he changed after his accident. He looked to God, forgave his shooter and everything. Yeah.
Okay, but
That's what I
fine. But
saw.
what's done is done.
Yeah.
You
But
know.
before that, he was pretty bad. Yeah.
We got Sean on. Hey, how's it going?
What's up, dude? Yeah, I just got your message. I've had a bit of a busy message. I listened in a little bit, so I kind of have an idea
Okay.
what's going on. But yeah, I had a friend in from out of town this weekend, so
Okay.
we've been having a lot of fun.
All right. What have you been doing? It's so fun.
Uh, Hanging out, barbecuing, and drinking.
Okay, I'm down.
That's
Have you been able to pay attention to what we've been doing here?
I've gotten part of the gist of this, right? Like we've gotten through the we're talking about the Kyle Rittenhouse speaking tour, and I paid attention to some of that stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not exactly sure where you're at now, but I'll catch up. Keep going.
Well, actually, I think I'm kind of done with this article. Um, okay, so going back, this article was written after the verdict, and it is absolute garbage. And it's just an example of what we face out there. You
Yes.
know.
And that's why
Okay.
Kyle is out there speaking because the media lies.
Yeah, but you know what, Allie, and I'm glad you brought that up because he goes up there and he just tells, and then I was carrying my rifle, and then I see Joseph. But to be honest, I don't know if that's very effective. I mean,
Yeah.
if there are things that people are saying that are wrong, get up there and say, "Here's what you're saying. Here's the fact." But instead, he kind of just drones through this life story thing, and
Maybe he could go through with the media lies. There's like 10 lies out there. Then he could just maybe, this is what they're saying about me, and this is the fact.
Yeah, there's a New York Post on the lies too.
yeah. Okay, so here, just thought I'd let people know it's not just conservatives and moderates who agree with the verdict. Many liberals agree with it too. I'm personally liberal myself. Okay, and guess what? Neil Kernan is a progressive. He's a Bernie supporter, fierce Kyle Rittenhouse defender. Um, Paul Katz became a big Kyle Rittenhouse defender, even though he was one of Kyle's biggest detractors, and even helped Binger collect evidence in the trial. And then he saw, wait a minute, this is all wrong. I got it wrong. And he completely did a 180 and became a Kyle supporter. And he's a
I mean,
hardcore leftist.
yeah, there's more, right? Destiny, he's a personality that's, he from the get-go said, by the letter of the law, Kyle's innocent. Like all that other things you guys are saying about he shouldn't have been, it's superfluous to the law. David Pakman, he said the same thing. David Pakman said the same thing. Even Anna Kasparian has come around and said, I was wrong about the Kyle Rittenhouse story. That was self-defense.
Yeah. It took a while for some of them.
Yeah.
But,
It was about 3 years after the verdict, but she finally figured it out.